You know, when we go and we buy something very valuable, many of us are very concerned about the warranty, especially if it's a car, electronic device. Who's giving the warranty? How long is the warranty? What is covered? Today, InshaAllah ta'ala, we will discuss a different kind of guarantee. First of all, the one who's giving the guarantee is the most truthful person ever created. The one who only speaks the truth. الذي لا ينطق عن الهوى الصادق المصدوق Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is giving the guarantee. And what is he guaranteeing? He is guaranteeing Jannah. He's guaranteeing Jannah. And all he said in this hadith is for me and you and every Muslim to do these 6 simple things. And if we do them constantly on a regular basis, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam guarantees us Jannah. So lend me your ears and lend me your hearts, my brothers and sisters. قال عليه الصلاة والسلام اضمنوا لي 6 من أنفسكم أضمن لكم الجنة. Guarantee me 6 things, I guarantee you Jannah. اصدقوا إذا حدثتم وأوفوا إذا واعدتم وأدوا إذا اؤتمنتم واحفظوا فروجكم وغضوا أبصاركم وكفوا أيديكم. والحديث في مسند أحمد وصححه الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله. اصدقوا إذا حدثتم. When you speak, you only tell the truth. I'm very happy to see my young brothers and sisters here today. When you speak, you only tell the truth. Lying is haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ. All who believe, fear Allah and be amongst the truthful. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, in the sidq, truthfulness leads to birr, and birr leads to Jannah. Truthfulness leads to the highest level of righteousness, and birr leads to Jannah. And the person keeps telling the truth until he is returned with Allah as Siddiq. Always telling the truth. Anytime you speak, my brother, my sister, make sure whatever you say is 100% truth. And keep in mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, مَا يَنْفِضُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. No word that you utter. Can you imagine? No word we speak except it's recorded. No word. Everything is recorded in details with maximum accuracy. Where is the problem? The problem is when we get a text message, and I love the way that hadith sounded. Sounds beautiful. Without checking any authenticity. Is this truly said by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? It's the worst kind of lying. Why? Because alayhi salatu wassalam said, whosoever lie about me, فَلْيَتَبَوَّأْ مَقْعَدَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ. Let him take his position in hell. So we get a message on WhatsApp or email without checking anything. Yallah, forward 100 people, and 100 to 1,000. And by the time we find out that it's fake hadith, it's fabricated, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not say it, it's too late. Too late. One thing is to lie, and another huge thing is to lie about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And sometimes, ya akhwan, we fall into the problem that we spread the news of whatever we hear. We heard something about a brother, a sister heard something about a sister. Immediately, yalla, on the phone, we tell everybody, did you hear what happened? Did you hear this? Did you hear that? Without checking if this is true or not. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام كفى بالمرء إثما أن يحدث بكل ما سمع. It's enough falsehood for a man to tell everything he hears. And sometimes my brothers, my sisters, these rumors that we're spreading without checking, they could ruin someone's life. They could ruin somebody's life and you not even notice. And that's a part of lying. So the first wasiyah from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is to tell the truth. And when he alayhi salatu wasalam, in the long hadith with Jibreel, when he went to the Isra and Mi'raj, and he saw some people whose mouth and nostrils were torn off from front and back. And when he asked Jibreel, who is this? He said, this is a man who goes out of his house in the morning and tells lies until they are spread all over the world. Was there internet on the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How did he know that there was a time he says something that will be spread all over the world? You post something on your Facebook without checking, is it true or not? Already somebody shared it and shared it and shared it. How can you control it, Yasir? Before you say anything, before you type anything, typing is included. Make sure, Yasir, you check that you are telling the truth. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us such a beautiful formula. If we follow, we will be safe. We will be safe from falling into riba or namima or lying or cursing. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. Whosoever believe in Allah and the last day, let him say good or be quiet. Second, well, before that, one of our judges, subhanAllah, one of the judges of the Salaf, just to show you how they were so conscious about what they say. He ruled against a person and that person came back and he said, yeah, judge, you ruled wrong. Listen to what the judge answered. He said, Wallahi, he was a very righteous man. He said, Wallahi, in 40 years, I did not say a word except I have prepared an answer to Allah for it. In 40 years, I did not say a word except I prepared an answer to Allah. Why did you say that? I have the answer. Allahu Akbar. Where are we from this, ya akhwan? Second, أوفوا إذا وعدتم وأوفوا إذا وعدتم. When you give a promise, my brother, my sister, when you give a promise, make sure you keep your promise. You tell your brother you'll be there at 9, be there at 8:45. We have this sick disease, ya akhwan. We're always late. The wedding is at 6, they show up at 8. When you are telling the person you'll be there at a certain time, you are handing his time or handing his life. And that's very precious. And the sign of the believer is to keep his promise. أوفوا إذا وعدتم. And especially when you are dealing with non-Muslims, this is a form of da'wah, to keep your word, to keep your promise. You make the contract. You make sure you أوفوا بالعهود. إن العهد كان مسؤولا. You will be responsible for the ahd. You will be questioned about the ahd that you gave. وَأَوْفُوا إِذَا وَعَدتُّمْ. And keep your promise when you give a promise. Third, ya akhwan, وَأَدُّوا إِذَا اؤْتُمِنْتُمْ. And fulfill your trust. You gave a trust to someone, make sure you fulfill your trust. A brother left and he kept his car with you. He told you, take care of my children while I'm away. Keep this amana, this amount of money till I come back. Make sure you take care of that amana. Taking care and honoring the amana is a sign of the believer. وَأَدُّوا إِذَا اؤْتُمِنْتُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُكُمْ أَن تُؤَدُّوا الْأَمَانَاتَ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهَا. Allah orders us, it's an order from Allah to fulfill the amana. One of these amanat, ya ikhwan, my sisters, when a sister tells you a secret between you and her, she meant that this is between you and her. Unfortunately, sometimes we go to another brother and we tell him, brother, I'm going to tell you something, but please do not say to anybody. And I already been promising that person that I'm not going to say to anybody. And I make the other person swear that he's not going to tell anyone. This is an amana. That person gave you an amana. That secret was an amana. He trusted you. She trusted you. When you go and spread that truth, spread that secret, you have broken the amana, ya akhi. And one of the best amanat, ya akhwan, I want to take advantage, my young brothers are here. One of the greatest amanat, my brothers and sisters, is these children that you brought to the masjid today. May Allah reward you for bringing them. This is an amana in your neck. The children, they are a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are an amana that you will be questioned about. I blessed you with these children and I deprived many. Many of us, we know people that have been deprived from children. So Allah blessed you with this amana. How are you taking care of it? Did you wake up your children to Fajr today? Are you making sure that they pray on time? This is the best amana, ya akhwan, is the amana that is between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The amana, the ahd that we gave Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are we praying 5 daily prayers on time? Are we making an effort to teach our children the Arabic language? Are we making an effort to teach these amana, the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is an amana, ya akhwan. Allah entrusted us with it. Very precious amana. When your child becomes 13, 14, don't say it's haram to wake him up for Fajr, he has school. It's haram not to wake him up. When your daughter becomes 13 and 12 and 14, wake her up for Fajr. The minute your child, whether boy or girl, hit puberty, they become just like you, as responsible as you are. Make sure they are praying on time. Why am I concentrating on prayer? Because you know, ya akhwan, this is the pillar of the deen. That's the most important thing in our deen. This is the first thing we will be questioned about, is our salat. قال عليه الصلاة والسلام المؤمن من أمنه الناس على أموالهم وأنفسهم. The true believer is the one who people trust with their wealth and themselves. And he was the Amin himself, even before Islam. His name was called As-Sadiq al-Amin. My brothers and sisters, قال عليه الصلاة والسلام آية المنافق ثلاث. One of the signs of a person that he is a hypocrite, one of the signs of being a hypocrite is إذا حدث كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا اؤتمن خان. When he speaks, he lies. And when he gives a promise, he breaks the promise. And when he is entrusted with an amana, he does not fulfill that trust. بسم الله وحده الصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. اصدقوا إذا حدثتم وأوفوا إذا واعدتم وأدوا إذا اؤتمنتم واحفظوا فروجكم. And guard your chastity. No boyfriend, no girlfriend in Islam. One of the main sources of destruction of a society is adultery, fornication, cheating on your spouses. One of the main reasons for destroying a society is zina. احفظوا فروجكم. Protect your chastity. One of the reasons that we believe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Do not even come close to zina. What does that mean, ya akhwan? It means that anything that might lead to adultery, don't even come close to it. Free mixing between the genders. Free mixing. Just like my sister. Just like my brother. This is how they start, ya akhwan. This is how things start. And unfortunately, with the way we are dressed lately, free mixing is getting worse. And we are seeing the effect of that in many, many communities. Make sure our gatherings are separate, ya akhwan. The brother visits the brother, and maybe he likes something. He sees the wife and he sees something nice and he starts comparing. The wife saw the man and joking around and this and that. It might lead to something. Why should I make any or take any risk? Islam came to stop this from the beginning. Check on the statistics in this country. 90% of the cheating on the husband is with the best friend. And the most dangerous is the brother-in-law. This is not my words, the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Al-hamu al-maut. Al-hamu al-maut. The brother-in-law is death, because we trust. Maybe your brother is an amazing person, great person. But قال عليه الصلاة والسلام that no man is alone with a woman except the shaitan. He did not say except your brother. No man alone with a woman except the shaitan is the third. احفظوا فروجكم والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون. Allah praise the one who protect and guard their chastity and try to avoid anything that might lead to something haram. We don't want to say, I'm sorry, it's too late. Fifth, ya akhwan, وَغُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ, and lower your gaze. Keep in mind, the one who is giving us this advice is the one who loves us so much, and he wants us all to be next to him, with him in Jannah. Alayhi salatu wassalam. غُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ, my young brothers, my older brothers, my sisters, lower your gaze. We are coming into a season of hot, high weather, high temperature. And we are living in a place, the higher the temperature, the lower the clothing. We are living in a place where the banner is, if you got it, flaunt it. If you have it, show it. Allah told us, قل للمؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم. Tell the believing men, not the kuffar, not the munafiqeen. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze. Lower their gaze. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, احفظ الله يحفظك. Be aware of what Allah ordered, and Allah will protect you. How does that apply to lowering the gaze? My brother, my sister, if I know my brother, if I know you very well, you are very jealous about your woman. If you do not want anyone to look at your wife, at your sister, at your mother, at your daughter, do not look at other people's wives, daughters, and sisters. Simple formula. احفظ الله يحفظك. Lower your gaze. You see a woman that's not dressed properly, will not stare up and down, ya akhi. Lower your gaze, it's haram. And wallahi, when you see an attractive woman and you lower your gaze, wallahi, you will, because you lowered your gaze because Allah ordered you, because you remember that this is haram, wallahi, at that moment you will taste the sweetness of Iman. Because you only did it for Allah, nobody's looking. Nobody knows me here. In the masjid, we are all shuyukh. We all look nice, but then I'm alone. And I lowered my gaze, subhanAllah. Wallahi, you will taste halawat al-Iman. Because you only did it. Not because your brothers are watching, not because your wife is with you, just because Allah is watching me. غضوا أبصاركم. Lower your gaze, and that also applied to our sisters. وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze. وَغُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ. My brothers, the sixth advice from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in order to guarantee Jannah is كُفُّوا أَيْدِيَكُمْ. Restrain your hands. Restrain your hands from performing anything that's haram. Restrain your hands from taking bribes. Restrain your hands from selling haram and buying haram. Restrain your hands. Some brothers think that it is manhood to beat your wife. Wallahi, you're not a man, you're a coward. When you beat your wife, you're a coward. For no reason. Some men, just because he's a man, he beats his wife. Keep in mind, you have a daughter and she will get married soon. And you will get a son-in-law that will do the same to your daughter, to your sister. That poor lady, their parents trusted her with you. After they raised her for 20, 25 years, they built, they gave her as a trust. Take care of her, honor her. Just because you feel like she's weak, you start beating ya akhi. لا يجوز. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that we try to imitate in everything we do, he never touched someone. He never beat anybody. كُفُّوا أَيْدِيَكُمْ. You have people working for you. Don't ever treat them with oppression. Look down on them. Sit down when the dinner comes or lunch comes. Sit down together and eat together. Show them that you are equal. This is the beauty of Islam. كُفُّوا أَيْدِيَكُمْ. Restrain your hands from doing anything that is not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers and sisters, sometimes doing something simple with that hand, very simple, will lead you to Jannah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, a man was walking on the street and he saw a branch, just a branch. He said, I'm going to pick it up in order not to harm anyone. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, that amal led him to Jannah. Allahu Akbar. You're driving on the road, you see a plywood, you see something that might harm others, whether Muslims, non-Muslims, ya akhi, we are all human beings. Get up from the car. Let them see with your thumb coming out and picking something from the car and putting it on the side of the road in order not to harm anybody. You see your brothers, your neighbors' Bible stand from the room, all the way on the street. You go pick it up and you put it back, just for the sake of Allah. Use that hand to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, that this hand will talk. أنطقنا الله الذي أنطق كل شيء. This hand will talk on the day of judgment. And would say, Ya Allah, He used to give with me. He used to use me to flip the pages of the Quran. He used to use me for the salat. He used to use me to help the needy. كفوا أيديكم. My brothers and sisters, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave us this great guarantee. And the guarantee of Jannah, لهم ما يشاءون فيها ولدينا مزيد. Whatever you want, you will get in Jannah. 6 things. Tell the truth. Keep your promise. Fulfill your trust. Protect your chastity. Lower your gaze and restrain your hand. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst these people. May Allah make us from the people who are guaranteed Jannah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the blessed one, to make everyone who attended today and their wives and their parents from the people of Jannah.